100 years ago, who knows what happened? I've wondered what's going to happen 100 years from now. I always think about the past before I've spoken about the show 1824 and 1923, those spin-offs of the show Yellowstone that I still haven't seen to this day, even though people have offered me DVDs and all that stuff to watch it. But I don't have a DVD player. I believe some people have even offered me a DVD player, like Pastor Joe Fox. He has Yellowstone on DVD. One of my other brothers, Red, he has Yellowstone on DVD. Eventually, I need to take the time to watch that. But right now, I'm on deployment with Grindstone Ministries. We're out here in Barnesdall, Oklahoma. And who knows how long that we're going to be out here on deployment. But I wondered about this town. Like, how did it get started? Like, what was going on? I looked it up. Uh, Barnesdall was renamed from some chief that was out here. Lost the page. Is this it? Nope. Trying to find it on my other phone. No, not the California raisins. Let's see. Barnesdall Oil Company. Uh, they started a refinery here, which everyone in this town pretty much works for this refinery, or if not, they have a family member that works at this refinery, and the refinery got destroyed. Right now, uh, they are, I'm not sure if they're trying to get it up and running or they just have to burn off fuel, but right now there's a one of the stacks that is just blowing a flame up in the sky. Maybe they're trying to get things up and running so they can actually refine oil and get things back in production. But it was named in 1922. Yeah, 1922, in honor of Theodore N. Barnsdall, because he made a refinery here. So then that made a town, and then all these different things happened because he I guess he struck oil and decided to plant a flag. And from some of the stuff that I was reading, he was the first person to actually uh, refine oil here in the United States. There's even this. I wonder, in the middle of some of the roads, or at least one road, it has a like a oil refinery thing. Well, a oil derrick. I think that's the pump thing that you have to. Um, the world's only main street oil well. There's a few of them out here. I don't know if y'all could see them. They're just in the middle of the road. So I believe that they're still working, but that's always interesting. And you can see I'm here. What is the name of this place? It's the actual wrestling building. On the other side of this wall is the football field here in Barnesdall. So you can see the football equipment, the helmets and stuff back there. Uh, what else? There's a wrestling room, a gym. That's where we're staying at in here. And when I was in here, I'm actually going to be going to sleep here soon. I looked up high school football. When did high school football start? It first started in 1870. So I played high school football in 1990. Well, my first time playing football was 1993 into 1994. Uh, is that correct? Yes. So the fall of 1993 into 1994 for Plainfield High School, Plainfield, New Jersey, the Cardinals. That's who I played for. And if I would have played in the 70s, that would have been the centennial for the start of high school football. which was amazing. It's amazing to look back and know the history of the things that you're doing. Also, back in 1924, prohibition was going on. It's just so much that uh, that you can look at and say, well, wow, I wonder how that would be around the time that I'm living and existing now. If I would have lived through that, how would my life has had been? Uh, would would I have been affected by the Jim Crow laws that were going on? Uh, Not necessarily, depending on what state you lived in or how you carried yourself or who you interacted with, or would I have been living in the North? Would I have been living in the South? Like, where would I have been? Because I don't know, or I possibly have met people that were born in, what would that be, in 1924, but maybe I never actually knew that and they passed away before I could actually have conversations with them. Like my grandmother, she was born in 1930 and she passed away when, what was that, 2016, and she was 86, I believe. I, when I started to realize the family history would start to get lost with her, and how she brought up, how she moved from North Carolina to New Jersey. If I didn't capture some of that stuff on video, it's somewhere here on my YouTube channel. Believe there's a link on my old website, ir62.com, that uh, just picking her brain, trying to figure out and understand what life was like for her. Like, she used to do swing dance, where you throw the woman all around and spin her around your head and all that stuff. She used to do stuff like that. Then I started to think about, well, how do I dance when I go to parties? Or how did I act? Like, trying to see an explanation of her life through her eyes as a 80 something year old woman, as opposed to her as a teenager. Like, what would have been different? Where was her mindset then, uh, from being young to being a mature woman like that? Where was my mindset from when I was young to where I am now, being 44 years old? I think about that. Then I started thinking about the future. I, I don't know if any of you have ever seen the, what is the name of that movie? Haley Joel Osment, and he is a robot. It's almost like a Pinocchio movie, but he's a robot, and he wanted to be a real boy like Pinocchio, and um, something happened where he got thrown away, or uh, sent to the bottom of the ocean or something like that. Like, the people that paid for him, they couldn't have a child. They purchased this child robot and then said, hey, you got to be careful, because if you put in the code or whatever, he's going to be latched on to you forever as a child, and he won't know and understand that he's a robot. He is going to act and interact with you as a child, as your child, because you encoded him to you. And believe in that movie, uh, the parents that couldn't have children had that robot, but then they had a child, and uh, their robot child couldn't deal or handle being a second child. So it lashed out. They got pissed off, threw the robot child away, put it in the ocean or something like that. It was kind of heartbreaking that someone or something that is putting all of this love and care for you, but that's irrelevant to this story. You fast forward towards the end of the movie, it's hundreds, if not thousands of years. This robot is at the bottom of the ocean going through ice ages, freezes, complete burials. It's all this stuff, and it's just stuck there. Then there are these robotic beings, or maybe aliens. Who knows? It's an advanced civilization that's doing excavation here on Earth, trying to figure out what happened here. So then they're going through and they're tapping into this robot's recordings, trying to figure out, well, what happened to you? Like what was this existence thousands, if not millions of years beforehand? And now we have you to be able to look back in the past. And you know how all of that popped in my head? A few days ago, I had a USB SSD hard drive. I was like, well, what if I was to lose this with all the videos and stuff on it, and it gets buried, and hundreds, if not thousands of years go by, and somebody from the future finds it, and then they try and figure out how to access it, but then somebody else is like, oh, there was this primitive technology where you had to use cords and cables to plug things up to transfer data and information, and they figured it out, and they got it to work, and they were able to see from so long ago, if not hundreds of years from now, thousands of years from now, millions of years from now, to be able to see these videos and have these thoughts broadcast to them, something that they lost. In the future, there's not going to be anything like this. But I will continue to put myself out there so that my generations can look back and see who I am. So I can be like the guy that formed this town, Barnsdall, and get a town named after him. That 100 years ago was the last time that they had a tornado, and now it devastated this town. It messed up that refinery that is his life's work. And that's how he's remembered. Well, actually, might not even be remembered. It's just the name of a town. It's not the name of a person. The people that may work at the refinery might know that, oh, so whoever founded this place, this refinery, is the same person that the town is named after. They might put two and two together. But how do I leave that legacy? I could get a town named after me. It'll be very difficult. I would have to do some great things to get them to want to change where I live at now to Dudley. Or J.A. Dudleyville. Who knows what it would actually be called. But what I do want is for my sons not to forget who I am. I want my sons to be able to tell their children who I am and be able to point out to me who I was. I have a box in storage. It's really important to me that when I left New Jersey, that I took this box with me that one day I want to get digitized so that I can save it and be able to pass it on to my sons uh, before these images completely disintegrate. This film cameras, 35 millimeter, you know, that technology that you had to go take to an instant photo booth or something like that to get your film processed, and you had to wait, if not multiple days, just an hour, 1 hour photo, and then you were able to look at that moment in time that you were able to take a snapshot of. Now we just have these phones where a photo means actually nothing. You take a picture, you don't go back and look at it. I do. I have thousands of pictures. I will just put on a photo carousel out of my Google Photos of the millions of pictures that I've taken over time. Sometimes it's my old professional photography photos of the weddings that I shot, some of the funerals that I shot, some of the uh, modeling pictures that I've taken, well, of myself and of others, more so of others. It was a very short career of me actually modeling, but I have that stuff to look at. I have that stuff to pass on, but though all of that stuff is digital, it's in the cloud. But all of that history, all of those pictures that I have in storage, I have to digitize. It's going to cost a lot of money to get that done. One day I have to pull the trigger to make it happen. I don't want to end up like the people here in Barnsdall that they're causing traffic because where the tornado went through, it completely took out a storage unit. There are reports of pictures with information on it are being found in Kansas. So that memory and history is just blown away. Maybe they had pictures from 100 years ago that were their keepsakes. They were trying to hold on to them. They were trying to remember. But it wasn't that important because they just put it in storage. One day they were going to go back and look at it. One day they were going to show their children, their great grandchildren, their great grandparents. A picture of their great grandparents getting married. A picture of this, a picture of that. But now it's all lost. You can only tell the story about what happened 100 years ago that you weren't even there. You could just describe it. Oh, you look like this person on the day that they got out the military, or that they went into the military, or that they became a police officer, or that they were a firefighter, or that they became a pastor so long ago, and all that stuff is gone. I don't want to just become a dead MySpace page or Facebook page, Instagram account, Twitter account, or X. I don't want to be one of these placeholders. I want to mean something to those that are close to me. And if I can mean something to people outside of me, maybe it's 100 years in the future right now, and whoever you are, you just stumbled across this video and you're like, wow, who is this dude? What did he do? Why did I get suggested this video? Oh, he did that primitive thing where he played football and just ran straight full speed into people. And then that wasn't enough for him. He decided to punch, kick, wrestle, and submit people in a cage. That's barbaric. Just like people did in the Roman Colosseum. That's barbaric. He lived in a time where vehicles made small explosions to move them forward. Like, how stupid is that? Like, combustion engines? What what is that? Hey, people were so dumb back then. Shoot, I looked on here. There was a 100 years ago today. Let's see if I could find it. Nope. Business machines. I believe 100 years ago today, the first diesel electric locomotive started running in New York City 100 years ago. Why do we only have that technology on trains now? There are companies like Edison Motors that are trying to do the diesel electric thing for trucks. That would put an amazing range and efficiency on heavy haul trucks or semi trucks. But no, you can't do any innovation. You can't uh, move forward. You can't try things out because the government is holding you back from making something change. They want to be able to control everything that you do, whether it's hydrogen cars, uh, diesel electric, hybrid vehicles. But oh no, they want to push electric vehicles that are worse off than the internal combustion engines that we have. But only time will tell. And you that's watching 100 years from now, you tell me what changed. Make sure you leave a comment about how things are in your time. I don't know if I'll be able to check it, but somebody will be able to respond to you. Maybe someone down my lineage and generations talking about their great 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 granddad. This is their great 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 granddad's video. Thank you for watching. You have a blessed day. Shalom.